Consistent self-improvement, everybody. You are now listening to American gypC Podcast, and I am your host, Classic, and I am here with my co-host,
gypC, and today we have Bharat Kanodia. He is the founder and chief appraiser of Veristrat. He has valued over 2,000 businesses and signed off on assets worth 2.6 trillion in value. Bharat, it's great having you here today. I guess we can start off with introducing yourself and what your company does.
Thanks for having me, guys. By the way, the pronunciation of my name was
Kanodia.
right on.
Okay, perfect.
So I'm in simple terms, I'm an appraiser. Now, most people, when they hear the term appraiser, they might think of getting their house appraised or getting some jewelry appraised. And I do neither of those things. Just the way you sometimes need to get your house appraised, you
Right.
need to get jewelry appraised, you also need to get other things appraised, like your business or your startup or your intellectual property, or you might have a trademark or a patent or your shares or your commercial real estate. So I do all kinds of appraisals or valuations. And most of my work is around startups and venture-backed companies.
Okay. What are some of these companies, if you don't mind?
I mean, some of the companies that I have valued are like Roku, Uber, Airbnb, Twitter, and some of the smaller companies too. So, I start out with these companies when they're these little seedlings. And as they grow over time, my work with them and involvement with them also grows.
Okay, so how did you get into this?
By accident. Best things in life happen to you when you least expect them. So, my first job out of college was in valuation or an appraisal, and turned out that I was half good at it, and I stuck with it. So, so far, I'm one of the few appraisers in the country who has valued all kinds of assets, including some of the weird or unique assets that you can think of. So you're in SoCal. In SoCal, I have appraised the city of Compton. I have appraised the city of Beverly Hills. In California alone, I have appraised the county of Monterey, the Golden Gate Bridge, the county of Napa. If you go out east, the Brooklyn Bridge, the George Washington Bridge, the Grand Central Station. If you go north, the Alaskan Pipeline. Or if you talk about companies, I've appraised companies like Yahoo or Verizon or Uber or Airbnb. List goes on.
So I know why houses get appraised, but why do some of these businesses get appraised? What is the value?
Great question. So most people think of appraisal is when you need to buy something or sell something, right? But that is just only one reason. You could need an appraisal for tax purposes. Uncle Sam always wants his cut. So how much is his cut? Right? It's a 30% or 40% or 15% of something. But what is that something? So I tell people, what is that something? Or it could be for accounting. If somebody invested, say, $100 in a company, they need to show on their books what that $100 is worth over time. So there's that appraisal. Or if somebody needs insurance, they need to know how much to insure something for. So they need an appraisal there too. Or if somebody's suing somebody, and they can't come up with, hey, what should I be suing for or how much? They need an appraisal. So for buying something or selling something is only 1/5 of the story, if you will. There are many other reasons why people need appraisals.
And do you only appraise, or do you help these companies figure out how to maximize value as well?
Great question. So a appraisal, it's almost like a report card, right?
Mm-hmm.
If when you go to school, right, your teacher tells you that, hey, you got an A- in math or a B+ in history or a C- in physical ed, or an A+ in music, right? And your grades tell you where you are, right? That's just observing this is the situation where you are at. That doesn't mean that's how you're going to be in the future. Unfortunately, right? When you're young and you're a student, you think that, hey, if you got a C- in something, well, that's also your future. No, that's just where you are today. So an appraisal is your valuation or your grade, if you will, today. Now you can take that and we can talk about that. Okay, so say if you have a B- in math and you want to get to an A-, these are the steps you need to do to go from a B- to an A-. And I help you with that as well.
What's that was like the weirdest business you've evaluated?
I have appraised some weird things. Some of the lists that I gave you. The I Love New York campaign, right? People walking around with the T-shirts, I Love
Yeah.
New York.
Yeah.
I have appraised that campaign.
Okay.
Now imagine that, like, okay, who the hell owns that campaign? There's an actual person or somebody who owns that campaign. I mean, I had asked these questions. I thought it was just something that people write that say, I love New York. Okay. No, but that is an actual trademark. Somebody owns it.
Yeah, that was from
and
the
most
show.
people might think that it is owned by the city of New York. It is not. It is owned by the state of New York. So my client was the state of New York, and I had to appraise the I Love New York campaign for the state of New York. So that was a weird appraisal.
Have you worked with podcasts?
I have appraised podcasts as well. In fact, I have a YouTube channel in which I educate people on appraisals and valuations. And one of the episodes that I had done a few months ago was on what is a podcast worth. So if you guys get a chance, take a look at it. You might get a kick out of it.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna go a little, far off a little bit. So, appraising in the metaverse.
What is that?
That's what I'm curious.
Well, I guess there's real estate in the metaverse. So is that what you mean?
Yeah, something close to that. Or, when is that going to come along with, how is that going to look? All right.
So, everything evolves over time, right? Back in the day when the internet was in its nascent stage, people wouldn't know what domain names were, right? I mean, very few people knew or even ever owned a domain name, right? If you owned a domain name, you wouldn't know what to do with it. Or like, okay, if you own something, generally it's a piece of paper that, okay, I own this domain name, but like no, you don't own it. It's nothing that you can physically hold or touch. Same way with stocks, right? Back in the day, you guys are young, but if you remember, maybe your parents or somebody, if you own stocks back in the day, people will send you stock certificates that you own this is a certificate of IBM. But nowadays, if you own IBM, it's just on your E-Trade or whatever account you use. Same thing with metaverse, right? Metaverse is a relatively new concept and people are still getting their head around it. But eventually, as it evolves, there will be assets within the metaverse that you have to own and you might have to get an appraisal on. And yes, I do NFT appraisals. And that is sometimes that is part of metaverse. And yeah, I do those appraisals. And let me also say that if I cannot perform an appraisal in metaverse, it probably can't be done. Because again, I have been blessed to have worked with all kinds of weird or unique or interesting assets. And I'm used to thinking outside the box when it comes to looking at unique assets, including assets within the metaverse. So yeah, that is an evolving field, and I'm looking forward to working more on it.
How do you decide the value of NFT?
NFT is so.
Let's say I have some trading cards, some basketball trading cards.
So the value of an NFT is similar to how you would appraise a house, even though I don't appraise houses, but I do understand how it's done. Because NFTs don't usually have a cash flow associated with them. They are worth whatever someone is willing to pay for it, right? Mm-hmm. But how do you know what someone is willing to pay for it, right?
Yeah.
You say that, hey, if there's an NFT called X, which was traded for, I don't know, $1 million, and then gypC owns an NFT which is very similar to.
We're freezing up.
Sold for $1 million, and the NFT that's in question here is NFT might be close to worth $1 million. Similar to how our houses are appraised, right? So if this house was worth $2 million and it's like 2,000 square feet, and it's in a similar location, say Manhattan Beach, then the house right next to that house is also, say, 2,000 square feet in Manhattan Beach, same construction, same quality, same condition. That probably is also worth $2 million.
So where do you see like the future of, I guess, cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and other crypto?
I mean, see, Bitcoin or individual cryptocurrencies, they can come and go, right? For example, emails as a asset or as a tools are here to stay, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Which email, a Hotmail or a Yahoo or a Gmail, that may come and go.
Right.
But emails.
So cryptocurrencies or NFTs as a asset class are here to stay. But Ethereum, or is it Bitcoin or Dogecoin? Well, that's sort of, that can come and go depending on, the flavor of the month, if you will. But and this is similar to how I tell people, like, 20 years ago, if somebody told me that, hey, I just emailed you a PDF and why don't you text me back what you think of it? They're like, what? You emailed me a PDF and you want me to text you back? What are those three things? What is an email? What is a PDF? And what is a text?
Right.
But today, if you said that to somebody, it's like, all right, fine. Similarly, if you told somebody today that, hey, can you send me 0.01 Ethereum from your wallet for the NFT 5140? What? People are like, with that, but 5 years from now, it'll be like, okay, I understand exactly what you mean.
Right.
So it is just evolving, and people are learning, and it will become part of our day-to-day eventually.
Yeah.
I guess, how do you see that expanding in our day-to-day life? Because right now it's kind of limited in how it's being used. Do you see that expanding into, I guess, different industries?
Did you ever think that you could find an audiobook online on Spotify? Right? Back in the day, you would have to go buy an audiobook.
Even just MP4.
Yeah.
MP3.
Did you ever think that you could send someone money just from your iPhone? Or did you ever think that you could FaceTime somebody and live listen? I mean, that's the kind of thing they would show in sci-fi movies back in the day.
Yeah.
But today is like every day, right? So it just takes time, and it's evolving, and it will continue to evolve. We just have to open ourselves up to change. So, the problem when old people become old when they stop learning, not with age, not with graying hair. It's when you stop learning. It's when you stop saying that I don't want to learn about NFTs. I don't want to learn about Bitcoins. I don't want to learn about domain names. That's when you become old and obsolete. Is Richard Branson old? No, because he keeps learning. He's up to date with everything. And that is really the key, to keep your learning curve up.
Yeah, be able to evolve as the world continues to evolve. Because it's the same picture with music. How I've tried to give an example with, once upon a time you had cassette tapes, and now everything is about Spotify and your phone. So,
in fact, we have a TV cabinet where we still have a lot of DVDs and CDs. And I know how much money I have spent on that stupid shit. And I just can't get myself to throw all that out.
it was valuable when you got it then, and it's an antique now.
And my wife keeps telling me, we got to throw all that out. I'm like, yeah, why don't you do it? I can't do it. Because I know I spent money to buy it.
Yeah.
But it is worth zero. And I know it's worth zero. And I can get all that for free anywhere. And I can get even better quality. I can get 8D quality or whatever the best quality is. But I can't get myself to throw it out. So, you hit the nail on the head with that music example, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm a musician myself, so like I said, I've taken a year off from music. I've seen evolution. Yeah, so it comes in a lot of different ways, but you got to be.
If you're taking a year off from music, think about for creativity. Think about meditating.
Mm-hmm.
Do you meditate?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. We've had some episodes talking about meditation.
Yeah.
I was actually going to ask originally, where are you from originally?
I'm originally from New Delhi, India. I grew up there. I've been in this country since I was 17, which was a long time ago.
Okay.
And I'm not a meditator. I was not a meditator. I've been meditating for only a little bit, and I have seen profound changes in me and my work and my lifestyle ever since. And it's helped my creativity, helped my focus. And of course, my work is all numbers and absolutely zero creativity. Yeah. But for somebody like you, I can't even imagine how fruitful it can be for your work.
Yeah. Well, I can say now, of course, dealing with music, you listen a lot. Meditation is kind of the opposite. So this year I have been able, it's been a peaceful thing, because I just want to listen to something less and less and just really be in the silent, the quiet. And that's one of the best benefits that I've gotten from taking a break from music is I'm okay with the quiet. I'm okay not listening to something. I'm okay not feeling like, all right, I need to practice, or I need to, because a lot of times all of it is creating sound. And a lot of people, their biggest thing with, learning how to meditate, they can't sit still for 5 minutes. They can't sit in complete silence for a certain, amount of time. And I've been meditating for a while. So even before I was able to meditate, but even after, when I stopped from the music, I realized I do get a lot more, of a better vibration and peace of mind from silence than having to constantly review my music. I'll make a song, put it on a MP3, put it on my phone, go listen to it in the car, I was listening to, and it's all my same vibration. So it wasn't like just a bunch of noise, but the silence. There's nothing like complete quiet to let your brain just, do what it's going to do and pull things together and manifest properly and get rid of certain fears and, just really eliminate a lot of the noise that was there that comes with that whole industry of things. And you're kind of on a hamster wheel. So I picked up meditation a long time ago. Being consistent at it, of course, I got to practice on that. It's been a little bit easier without a lot of the music. So, yeah, I agree. It is something that I'm trying to take a lot more advantage of since I'm out of the music world for a minute. And I may, probably stretch the music break a little bit longer. I've stopped playing cello completely for 7 years. I did still keep producing and songwriting out of that, but this is the first time I've stopped producing, stopped playing cello, and just kind of put the energy somewhere else.
Yeah. What do they say when the silence on the inside overpowers the noise on the outside? That's when you're doing something right. I'm not there yet. I'm not even at the beginning of the beginning, but I feel like I'm on the right path.
How often do you meditate?
Twice a day.
Wow.
But it's only been a few weeks. And I can't even imagine. What pisses me off is I should have just done this a long time ago.
Yeah.
and I feel like the education system has failed me because they don't teach you shit. I mean, when was the last time you used trigonometry or the physics they learned or the chemistry they taught you?
Yeah.
Oh, bullshit. They don't teach you real things. I mean, they don't teach you. I mean, they teach you how to file taxes, for crying out loud. I mean, they don't teach you real things. They don't teach you how to talk to people. They don't teach you how to resolve conflict. They don't teach you how to calm yourself down. They don't teach you how to listen to others.
Right.
They don't teach you how to raise kids. They don't teach you how to, train employees or train people. Just, they don't teach you shit.
Yeah.
And we mentioned on the other podcast when we were discussing meditation that we didn't learn about it until we were like college. We didn't,
Yeah, I was an
we
adult.
were, born. I was raised in the church, so prayer was one thing, but prayer is completely different from meditation. So we didn't really get the grasp of what meditation was until adulthood.
Prayer. This is the way I have come to learn about prayer. Prayer, the root of prayer is right. But once that root leaves the soil and starts to grow up, that's when something is going off. Because you're going away from the inside silence.
Right. Yeah.
And you're, instead of, because what meditation does is makes you realize that you have the power for anything. And I feel what prayer does is teaches you that you're relinquishing your power to something else.
Yeah, it feels like wishing to a certain degree.
Yeah. And with meditation, they're telling you that all the power is within.
Exactly.
At least that's
and I'm sure you have people that have their different opinions from that mainly live in prayer, and then you have those that are aware of meditation.
Yeah.
But after you learn, like I said, the definition of silence, what silence is, then you can't. They clash. I can't quiet my mind at the same time while I'm asking, something at the same time, and there's a clash there. So you're definitely going to get different results.
Yeah.
So what was it like at the age of 17 coming to the US?
Exciting and scary.
Were you alone or were you with your family?
No, I was by myself. I came for college. I went to Wisconsin. I went to Madison, Wisconsin for engineering. Um, and it was fantastic. I was young, and in college is the best time in anybody's life, right? And it was amazing. And it was a great learning experience. That was the first time I was away from home all by myself. And it was a cultural shock, and it was just a physical shock. It was just all kinds of things. But you just keep your head down and you keep doing what you're doing.
What made you switch tracks from engineering to what you do now?
I found engineering excruciatingly boring back in the day. I didn't appreciate it.
What type of engineering?
Mechanical.
Okay.
I found it excruciatingly boring, and I didn't appreciate it. I always liked the business side of things. And now I appreciate the engineering as I'm getting older of things. Whenever I go on a tour or travel, I look at architecture and buildings and any statue. I'm always analyzing it from an engineering perspective, and of course, I appreciate the art side of it too, right? I mean, one time I was looking at a statue which was huge. It was like a 10-ton statue cast out of metal, alloy metal, and the first thing that came to mind is like, how would have they created the mold to create the statue? I'm not looking at that statue. I'm thinking about the engineering that went into creating that statue. And I don't know if that's me going back to my roots of engineering, or that was engineering percolating out of me after 20 years, whatever that might be. But I enjoy architecture and history and engineering.
Do they offer like courses in what you do now, as far as specifically? Is it something that like young people can get into?
Yeah, of course. You can learn valuation courses and evaluations. There are degrees available, there are certificates available, there are designations available. But what they teach you are the traditional valuations. Like, okay, if there's a small business or a mid-sized business or a company, how do you value it? But how do you appraise the Brooklyn Bridge? How do you appraise a startup which has zero revenue but is worth $100 million? These things you have to, no book can teach you. These things you have to learn yourself, or learn with experience.
I'm not sure how we're looking on time.
We're okay. We got another 5-10 minutes. It's okay. I'd love to come back and speak with you guys again.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you guys had a chance to look at my YouTube channel. If you guys get a chance, take a look at it. It's called What's It Worth?
Okay.
YouTube.
Likewise, as well, you can check out ours. You'll probably see some interesting things on our YouTube channel. Yeah.
But yeah,
and it's kind of fun. That's the creativity that I'm doing nowadays, and I enjoy it. I enjoy educating, and it's also channeling my creative side. So it's fun.
I did get to look at a couple of your videos, by the way. I like the just the sceneries and different places you go and record your videos. It's pretty cool.
It's a little different than others,
yeah,
right?
I like it.
I'm not like a general YouTuber where I'm hanging on my phone and I'm going, "Hey guys,"
but it's valuable information. I mean,
right? But I'm not talking bullshit. My videos are what I'm shooting for is concise, informative, and entertaining. So I keep my videos tight, as Mark Twain said that I did not have time to write a short letter, so I wrote a long one instead. So it takes more work to write a short letter or a short video than to create a long one. I mean, I could keep rambling on and on and on and on. And, I could create a 2-hour video, but does that help people? I mean, I still have only 5 minutes worth of information. So, the way I describe it is, it's easier to make boiled milk, but it takes work to make condensed milk.
What made you get into content creation?
As a web developer, you appreciate it. I had spent crazy stupid money, gypC, on web development and SEO and marketing. You name it, and I spent money on it. And SEO people, no offense, but they're all a bunch of crooks. They all promise you, digital marketing people, they promise you the world and they deliver shit. And they're all crooks. Or I just happen to run into all of them.
I just don't think they should be promising what they promise, but go ahead, keep going.
Correct. Nevertheless, after making many, many, many mistakes, did I say many? I learned that everything is bullshit and content is king. And video content is king of kings. So then I decided that, instead of investing stupid money in these marketing or digital marketing people, that's what they call themselves, I'm going to double down on content creation. So that's what I did. And video content is fantastic because you can slice and dice it in so many ways. And it's opened up a lot of doors for me, frankly. I mean, I'm an advisor with UC Berkeley. I have my own column with Inc. magazine. I am giving a TEDx. So, content creation is amazing. And I get to create, a movie, an episode, which is kind of fun, going for shooting and writing and editing and picking B-rolls, it's kind of fun.
Yeah. Likewise, I enjoy that part of the podcast. That's creating the content and, marketing it and getting creative with how you market it and all of that. So.
We have a lot of the tools in-house as well, so it kind of helps as well.
I mean, I spend 80% of my time in pre-production, and post-production is easier and production is easier when you spend most of your time pre-production, because you know exactly what you're going to do or not going to do.
Right.
Which is just like anything, right? Planning is everything.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you giving us your time. Like I said, I've learned a lot in this one episode, and I look forward to even having you on again sometime soon. We have a little break coming up, and then we're coming back in February. But we'll definitely check out your content. And what you want to
and as for the podcast, you can find us at American gypC, gypC spelled gypc.com. And you can find links to our merch, as well as all the episodes, the videos, and a link to our Patreon. We have Patreon memberships at different levels. You get access to exclusive content, some merch, and some crystal necklaces made by us, and a lot of different things depending on the membership. And yeah, you can find all of that at AmericanGypsy.com. Bharat, thank you for being with us today.
And you can give your information once again as well, where they can.
Oh, sure. The best way to find me is look for What's It Worth or Bharat Kanodia on YouTube, and you'll find my channel. If you have a valuation question, feel free to email me, and I'm happy to help you.
Okay. All right. And for the listeners, thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening, everyone, and consistent self-improvement, everybody. Have a good day. Thank you.